how do you teach the people, those new BDRs, those new account management guys? Because I know you bring in some college grads, and I've met them. How do
Mhm.
you teach them to engage and create meaningful relationships and engagements with these associations, especially tag?
Sure, that's a great question, and I'm going to resist the temptation to use a football
No,
technique or a
go,
coaching
go,
technique, and
no, go for
you know
it.
you don't. So
Do
you
it.
don't, you teach it from the ground level. Every spring when we get together, every summer when we get together to start the season, no matter how experienced the kid is, we start at the very fundamental level. We teach them how to get into a proper stance. We teach them how to come off the football. We teach them as if they're 6-year-olds all over again. And we do the same thing with our folks here at eHire or wherever I've been. If you're going to introduce a community engagement model where the end result or the end game is to create a meaningful relationship with with buyers, right? With people that are decision makers, and you have to start from the ground floor. So we take a young person here at eHire that starts in June, right? One of the things we do when we talk about operationalizing this concept, Rob, is that we hire people with this concept in mind. So when we look at a person's resume, and their resume is not going to be very long, they're a college student, right? We we don't necessarily spend a lot of time on GPA and what they studied. As you and I both know, C's get degrees, right? We're looking for people that were highly engaged when they were in school. Were they in a fraternity? And if they were in a fraternity or a sorority, did they do more than just show up? Did they manage fundraisers? Right? Were they part of the recruiting committee? Were they there when the incoming freshmen were coming in, talking about their sorority or their fraternity? Did they work? Did they pay their way through college? Did they work 30 hours a week and graduate in 4 or 4.5 years? Those are the kind of characteristics that we look at that demonstrate that these are very highly social people. And when they come into eHire, part of the interview process is to find out what they're passionate about. Right. So when we talk about community, we serve in two different ways. We serve on the benevolent side, right? We expect people to want to serve in projects like Habitat for Humanity or the Ronald McDonald House or Cure for Cancer or the Komen Foundation. We expect those kinds of things, and those are benevolent areas of service. We also look and we query about what their technology passions are. Now, keep in mind, we don't hire technologists to work at eHire. Recruiters aren't technologists. We place technologists, but we want to know what their passion is. Do they like web development? Do they like user interface? Do they like data science? You look like you might have a question there. Did you have something you wanted to ask?
Yeah, you were just breaking up. Every so often
Okay.
your audio breaks up. It nothing to do with your headset. I just think it's the internet. So just keep
Okay.
rolling.
No
We'll make
worries.
it work.
No
We'll make
worries.
it work.
Okay. So, we try to find out what they're passionate about. And if I have a young person that comes to the company that's passionate about data science, well, we have data science meetups. We have data science user groups. The Technology Association of Georgia has a society that's all about data analytics with over 500 members, and they do one meetup a month, and they have a huge data science awards banquet that they do every year. So we have opportunities to plug our recruiters or plug our account managers into these situations. And we start by just asking them to serve. What does that mean? Well, it means you go to a meetup of data scientists and you look around the room and you're like, you know what? They don't have food. They don't have enough chairs. Their space is cramped. And you go to the guy or the young lady that chairs that committee and say, you know what? We can get you space. We'll pay for your space for your next meeting. And you know what? We'll provide the pizza. We'll fly in a speaker. So you begin to become something of a value add within that specific community, not by trying to serve alongside with a CIO or a CTO of a data analytics company that may be on that board, but by doing and serving sacrificially, right? But the real secret sauce happens when you do get a board seat, which is not unheard of for a 25 or a 26-year-old recruiter to get on the board, because just like associations or just like companies, they're starving for good people to serve and help them solve problems. So a typical problem at Tag Ed, where I sit on the board, is fundraising. How are we going to fund the internship program to get 150 high school kids working at NCR or at Equifax or at the Coca-Cola company or at the Home Depot company, working at their help desk bar, right, or working in some sort of technical capability. How are we going to do that? Well, in order to do that, I'm sitting on the board with people, and Rob, when I talk about way above my pay grade, I'm talking about way above my pay grade, right? I have access to CEOs of Fortune 50 companies, right? I could never buy my way into that. I couldn't get, I couldn't spend enough money.
Your way into there.
No, I can't cold call my way there. I couldn't at some silent auction buy a lunch with a CEO or a CTO of Equifax. But because I'm on the board with that person, right, and I'm helping us together solve the future workforce availability problem in Atlanta, that buys me the right, that earns me the right at some point in time to go to Mr. CTO or Mrs. CIO and say, you know what, we've done some real cool, meaningful work together. What's your staffing situation looking like over at Equifax? How can I help you out?